What is up, everybody? Welcome back. Back again on a Monday morning to recap the weekend that was an action-packed weekend across Major League Soccer. Tommy Scoops, as you know, here all the time. And coming back from the great abroad, we have Matthew Doyle from Bilbao. Matt, thank you for being here, our new designated player up top, the Bryce Mendez of our show.
Yeah, there's a couple of extra X's and Z's in my name now after that trip. And I got to tell you, Bilbao kind of gets overshadowed as a tourist destination and compared to next door city, which is San Sebastian or Donostia, depending on what you call it. And like, I understand that, but one thing about Bilbao is that it was locked in for the Leagues Cup.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the Leagues Cup hub of northeastern Spain.
Because it's big Austin FC, but also Juarez and Leon fans, right?
Correct. Yeah, that's it. That's like really kind of the heartbeat.
The culture.
I hate you deeply.
Doyle, did you come back fully with a suitcase full of Manchego?
No, I came back with a suitcase full of conservas. I'm a big tinned fish guy.
Nice.
And if you go to like a tin of Ventresca in the US, which is like the fatty tuna belly, that'll cost you about $20. And in Spain, you could get that for like $6. So my wife and I literally pack an extra suitcase and go to the Corte Inglés.
Did you bring over $8,000 worth of stuff through the border?
I would say we definitely brought over more than $1,000 worth of tin fish. Yeah.
Gross.
I'm here for it. I'm a tin fish
Tom
guy,
is the
obviously.
just so folks know,
Yeah.
Tom is the only Italian who lives on the Jersey Shore who does not like seafood. Like the closest
Bringing
Tom
these
gets.
tin
seafood,
fish. What?
You don't eat any seafood or only fried calamari?
I do eat calamari.
Well, don't worry, Tom. A lot of what I brought home was chipperones, which is calamari stuffed with other calamari. It's delicious stuff.
Sounds fantastic.
Tom would like for you to bread that and put it in a fryer that also ran French fries, so it tastes like
A
French
sandwich.
fries, and then he would be open to eating it. Well, we're happy to have you back, Doyle. Tactics Free Zone, new piece this weekend, so make sure you subscribe if you don't already. And Doyle's going to be back cooking with us, and of course over there. So make sure to follow along. Tommy Scoops, of course, he's got your weekend recap at The Athletic. Tom, anything people should know?
This weekend we just did transfer stuff, 3 teams to watch, and latest news. And I'm sure a lot of that'll be peppered in here.
Which is perfect because last week on Soccerwise we did 5 teams to watch. So we're
And then a couple
always
things happened.
Yeah, true. That is true. And then we're always 2 ahead. If you haven't listened to that show, you can go back. But we've got a big show coming up for you. We had a full weekend of action, especially action towards the top of both conferences, Supporters Shield race that we will recap. And then we have a full midweek of games. And that includes a top of the West clash between Vancouver and Houston coming up. We've got Cali Classico with Chucky making his debut already, and San Jose in a nosedive right now. So as usual, Major League Soccer likes to make sure that all the biggest games get the most attention and the most care. So they're all jammed together in a 4-day span, and the teams can rotate as much as possible. But we have a lot to talk about coming out of the weekend. And of course, we will open up the ice cream shop as we always do and touch on any big news, which will come left and right. I already heard Tom's phone go off once in this show, so I assume we'll have we'll have a nice little break for that one.
Joseph Martinez already out of Columbus. Did it happen that quickly?
So I love the 77 shot from Joseph Martinez when I turned on the game this weekend. I loved that.
We, of course, are all over socials. If you don't follow us already, and if you're listening on Sirius Radio, welcome. And thanks for joining us. We start every Monday with the best things we saw from the weekend, and then we dig into the biggest news. Let's start, Doyle, with you.
Yeah. So one of the things that I was not following, but not following intentionally, but was able to keep up on when I was in Spain was transfer news out of MLS because, like all of you, I have notifications for Tom Bogert turned on. And so I saw that Seb Berhalter left. which fine, we talked about on this show. And I've been curious as to how Vancouver were going to fill that hole. And apparently it's just Ali Larraz, who was cut by Colorado this offseason. And I know that I know that things hadn't been great for Vancouver up until last night. I think it was 6 winless across all competitions, but Larraz was really good. He was doing a Berhalter impression. His he doesn't strike the ball quite as cleanly as Berhalter does, but in terms of covering ground, in terms of making smart sort of off-ball movements that unlocked Seattle's midfield and just like constant pressure because of that ended up tilting the pitch. And Vancouver looked like Vancouver again, even as they were missing a couple of key pieces. And it speaks to how good Thomas Sorensen is at talent identification and talent development and understanding guys who might not be elite players at sort of the loud component stuff. They still have like roles to play and stuff that they can add that resonates with the high, like what Larraz does complements Andres Kubas, and that complements Thomas Mueller. And suddenly you have this collection that is this whole that is greater than the sum of its parts. And he's done this constantly. I mean, he did it with Seb Berhalter 3 years ago. Nobody knew Seb Berhalter was going to become what he's become, and now it just looks like taking found money and doing it again with Ali Larraz. So I love stories like this. It's one of the things that I love about MLS, and I hope that the league never kind of loses. And the fact that it's the best team in the Western Conference that's constantly doing this, it's great, man. It makes me legitimately happy.
I'm stoked. I was a big fan of his in Colorado. If you're a Rapids fan, I wouldn't be sad right now in that he had injuries, and it felt like it was one of those where it's
the Rapids have no central midfielders who can pass the ball.
I understand that, but I think we have to accept sometimes it just doesn't work for someone in a place and they need a new opportunity. And like he had all those injuries and it just wasn't really clicking. The other side of things is I think his skill set fits in Vancouver better. He wants to be on the ball. That's what he's good at. If he's not on a team that's dominating possession, is he going to be comfortable? Is he confident enough to affect the game? I would feel sadder about Ralph Priso if I was a Rapids fan than I would about Ali Larraz, because I think it was just like, it's time for a new opportunity. But I was excited for him to come to Vancouver for a lot of the reasons that we're seeing now. I thought that if there was a chance for him to resurrect his career and find a spot to play, that this would be it. But it's cool that the Whitecaps have set up a situation where the first assumption is that there's a solution in-house. And all the moves they make, it's kind of like, okay, next opportunity comes up for the next guy inside the club. And Tom, we talked about it a little bit last week because they did sign a Serbian youth international at central midfield. But like the assumption was that they were just going to try and make it work with what they have in the building.
Yeah, and Ali Larraz was really good this weekend. Seattle Sounders are in a bit of a free fall. Vancouver Whitecaps were excellent. There was only one team. There's only one winner in this game for a while. It took Vancouver till the 77th minute to get that breakthrough. My note for this game is, dude, of course the Vancouver Whitecaps perfectly executed an indirect free kick in the box. Like, there is not a team that I have more confidence in that would be well drilled to end up with somehow Thomas Mueller getting around the wall and basically having a free shot to put it in the bottom corner. The Whitecaps are so well drilled. They do everything well. Of course they do that well.
Who does Nuhu think he is? Calling Andrew Thomas off his line 35 yards for a ball that's within 3 yards of him?
Who does Nuhu think he is? There's like 9 different iterations of this season. This is who he is. Like
Sam Stejskal throwing his phone right now. He's Nuhu. He does what he wants. It was
that bit was funnier when he was one of the best left backs in the league and the best left center back when they did the back three. The bit's less fun. It's like in Step Brothers where the Seth Rogen scene where they go to the interview for like a blue collar job in tuxedos, and he's like, it's funny, it's ironic, it's great, and then one of them farts. He's like, yeah, the tuxedos kind of seem effed up now. That's what it's like with Nuhu. The Nuhu bit is great when he's one of the best left backs in the league. It's not so great right now.
That was a long route to get there, Tom. Let's work on that story. We could tighten that one up going forward.
If you don't laugh at Step Brothers bit, that's on you. It's not on me.
I didn't need you to tell me the whole thing. Once you said it, I already knew. I didn't need you to go the full way.
You're the only person listening to this?
Andrew Thomas apologized to Nuhu when they cut at least tight, like off the call. And I was like, I don't know if that's just like good locker
Yeah.
room stuff or you don't know what's going on, but that's not your fault, man. You don't have to apologize.
I
for
was
that.
surprised to see that. Like, I thought that was going to be the keeper MFing the defender there, because that was 100% on Nuhu. Schmetzer said it after the game. The first goal was on Nuhu because he kept it onside.
Yeah.
He's playing. Honestly, I think he might be playing the worst ball of his career, and I know that Sounders fans are upset that he's still out there every single game. And that left side between him and Rothrock is a disaster. Like, Rothrock is a good squad player. He's someone who you want to have on the roster to soak up 1,200 minutes here and there across the 50 games that Seattle played last year. But if the ball's constantly on his foot to play the final pass to make the game deciding, like, you're going to have a 7-game losing streak. And it gets back to the difference between these two teams, right? Like, we talked about how Vancouver are so good at finding internal answers to big questions. And obviously Ryan Alumi getting the goal is another example of that. Vancouver also went out over the past year and has spent more than $1 million on 4 different players. 3 of them are wingers, Sabali, Caicedo, and Kenji Carrera, and now the Serbian central. Like, Seattle hasn't spent more than $1 million on someone since since Pedro de la Vega.
Yeah, and like,
Who,
I
Tom?
don't
I
even know
think
before
Pedro
that.
de la Vega, I think this is his year. I think he's just going to turn a corner.
It sucks because so he came, he played 15 minutes before he got re-injured this week, and like, it's so brutal. I really feel for the guy, but like, this isn't new.
I have some numbers here.
But to Doyle's point, it doesn't matter. You can't just hinge the whole thing on one person. Like, you should be going out and getting multiple players. You should be building depth. You should be building optionality in some of this. They've done some of it internally inside the league, they thought, with Jesus Ferreira and Paul Areola and guys like that. I can't remember his name, but the Serbian center mid that they brought from Charlotte, who they also thought, right? All of
really
these
good.
guys have, all
They're
of these
only
guys have gotten
U22,
hurt.
by the way, right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they have 2 open U22 slots, and if they are serious about even making the playoffs at this point, they need to go out and use one of those on a winger who can beat guys 1v1 and who could play the final ball. Because without De La Vega and, with Georgie Manungu gone, Manungu was great at that last year, they do not have that player who can get to the end line and unlock. And it's important. Let me give you some numbers. Since De La Vega arrived ahead of 2024, the Sounders are 56, 36, and 30 across all competitions. That is not great. That's about 1.6 points per game. That's a good team. They're at 2 points per game with De La Vega starting, right? So
Sample size of 9
points
games
per game. Yeah, right. Sample size of about 35 games. So about a season's worth of sample size. That's not enough. When he starts at the left wing, they were 9-1-2. And you could see it last night. Like, that's where Rothrock works. And Rothrock cannot beat guys off the dribble. And he cannot play the final ball consistently. If they have a DP caliber player on that side, I think it fixes a ton of what's gone wrong with them. But it's like, Adrian Hanauer is not going to spend that money. And we saw the difference last night between an ownership group, as messed up as Vancouver are right now, that spends a little bit of money, and one that doesn't.
So, and you talk about Georgie Manungu, and so if there was no plan to replace him, why let him go?
Yeah,
it was a really good valuation. Like, it's not as if the Rapids got him for cheap. But if you're not going to replace him, why is he being traded? And I don't know if this was ownership saying, okay, that offer came in. You have to, because for those who don't know, even when teams verbally agree a deal, you have to go bring it to your owner. And your owner has to go sign off on it. So there's a lot of times where, particularly with $2 million, it was a cash trade, I believe, right? With $2 million, like, you probably have to bring that offer to your owner. So I don't know if that was Hanauer saying, yes, take that deal. But if you're Craig Weibel in the front office, don't even bring the deal to your owner. Like, unless you have an insurance that you're going to be able to spend that money. And I know it sounds like I'm kidding, but they're so thin. You can't totally control injuries, but you can know who is and isn't injury prone. Maybe Manungu was asking for it again. Like, these are all hypotheticals, but The idea that he was traded for $2 million and he's the exact profile that they are desperately lacking right now, and then didn't replace him, it's infuriating.
So it was $2 million in GAM across 2 years. I don't know what the add-ons are in there of like what the minimum and what the maximum of it could be. You have to assume, I haven't asked him, you have to assume that Georgie Manungo asked for this, of like, I'm a starter in this league. You know how I know I'm a starter in this league? Because the Colorado Rapids are offering $2 million in GAM for me. And he was not a given starter with the Seattle Sounders when they traded.
I think that's it. Like Brian Schmetzer was never going to see Georgie Manungo as a starter. And I think that's a problem. And I think another problem that's in this, like what made Manungo special last year was one thing. He would get to the end line and he'd hit those cutbacks, right? He'd put that ball across the 6 for Danny Musovsky to run onto or Obed Vargas to run onto. The Sounders aren't generating those plays anymore this year because they're weaker on the ball through central midfield. So they're not able to get the wingers forward or wide in 1v1 situations as much. And they're definitely not able to get the fullbacks forward. And that has made them easy pickings. And they have some stuff that they've got to solve. And I know there's a lot of talk about going out and bringing in a striker. A striker's not going to solve this, man. Like this is not like the number 9s have been bad this year, no question about it. Danny Musovsky was a disaster last night, but that is not the genesis of the issue. It's central midfield. They have to fix that, and then they have to get some sort of threat out wide to pull the opposing back line towards them and create those moments in behind.
And Albert Rusnak has fallen off a cliff. I know that it's a continuation of what you're saying, Doyle, but like. He's got 1 goal and 1 assist in MLS play since April. He's got 2 goals and 3 assists since February. Like, I don't know how much of it is him, but he has reliably been a very good player, and he's just not performing. He's not close to a DP level right now, but like he's barely like replacement level. And I don't know if that's just a knock-on effect of not controlling games in central midfield and just a symptom of the wider problems, but it's tough there too.
Before we move on, have to mention. The Vancouver Whitecaps have clinched the 2026 Cascadia Cup. So they've now won 3 of the last 4. They hadn't won it for 7 years coming into 2023. They are now the dominant force in that region, an area that, you know, there was a 7-year span in the middle where Seattle and Portland basically traded off MLS Cup appearances. They met in Western Conference Finals. It felt like there was very much a hierarchy, and Vancouver has completely flipped that. And they are now playing home games at Providence Park and smashing the Portland Timbers, and they're going out and they're taking care of business against the Seattle Sounders. I think if you told any of us this 5 years ago, we wouldn't have believed you. Because if you remember in COVID, we did the like top 4s of every club, the big moments, and we were scraping the barrel with Vancouver out the gate. It was one Pedro Morales season. It was Kendall Waston's header to clinch a playoff spot. It was Darren Maddox. Like, it was tough. And now it's like, who cares? Let's put Tom in central midfield and we'll just ping the ball around and play however we want. It is a real turnaround. They are on points per game, 2nd in Major League Soccer right now, and they are top of the Western Conference. So it has been the team to watch, and you should continue to do so. Talk about best things we saw. I wanted to talk a little bit about my guy, Neil Pierre, who had another strong performance for the Philadelphia Union in an epic come-from-behind win at Yankee Stadium. And my favorite moment, of course, is late in the game. He goes deep into a corner with Nico Cavallo, so not the most experienced player, but a guy who's 6 years older than him. He gets a little shove after the play, and he just turns and faces him down. And then he says something, and he points to the scoreboard. At that point, they were winning. And he's like, get out of here, walk away. 18-year-old center back, just dominating the space. It wasn't South Dakota State high school soccer levels, but it was still big fight energy. He's been incredible. He's been a huge part of their turnaround. His ability to clean up messes and cover ground, and therefore they can press even higher. His threat on set pieces is massive to everything they do, even if it doesn't fall to him. You see the extra attention he gets. Daniel Jean-Jacques gets a goal off that early set piece, which, by the way, I thought Matt Freese should have come off on, and he still mother effed his defense, screaming at them. So Andrew Thomas had full license to have done it if he wanted to. And it was a huge moment for Philadelphia. They come from behind, from 2-0 down. They give up 2 goals on penalty kicks. They come all the way back. They win 3-2 on the road, and they're like absolutely cruising in the Ryan Richter era. And Tom, Neil Pierre is one of us.
Yeah, I love that about him. He was called for the first penalty. I thought it was pretty soft.
Oh, there's a penalty.
I don't know. I mean, I disagree, but that it wasn't that egregious. But so he did have a hand in it. But he was, I thought, generally very good. He's been generally really good since his first appearance with Ryan Richter taking over. That was July 22nd against the Red Bulls. He started 4 games, all 4 of them wins. The only game that he didn't start was the Cruz Azul loss in Leagues Cup because of a little rotation. He scores a goal against the Red Bulls when he came on as a sub in that first game. And after that show, we were because we had spoke about him before. And then I was like, I think he should be the starter, right? Like, he's an 18-year-old center back. He only has some experience, half a season in the Danish top flight or second division. Like, he's not going to be perfect. He's going to be inconsistent. He's probably not going to start every game I feel like, Gus, you and I have been 2 of the highest on Neil Pierre, and somehow
we had him on our 2030 World Cup depth chart 2 months ago, a month ago.
But somehow, even when I was trying to be reasonable, don't go over the top. He's an 18-year-old center back. Yeah, I think he's going to come good, but over the next month, he won't be one of the best players in the league, and that's okay. He's been one of the best defenders in the league over the last month. It's his immediate, because I don't even want to call it a rise, because he's just been this good since he's been in the lineup. And listen, realistically speaking, I'm sure he'll have a bad patch, maybe be inconsistent, but this kid is an elite level talent, and it's really cool to watch him thriving for Philly, getting the opportunity and just everything that he's doing, even in a game where an 18-year-old center back gives up a questionable PK early in the game. Then they give up another PK later in the game, and he doesn't fold. The team doesn't fold, and it's all just so impressive.
There are 2 things about this. One is that if Lucas Harrington, who's about a year older than Neil Pierre, just got sold for $20 million, Jay Sugarman has dollar signs dancing in his eyes like a cartoon. Like, Neil Pierre could go for $20 million this time next year. I don't think
YSC's getting cheesecake desserts for all the kids.
100%.
We're going full budget.
Yeah. Will it be from Sheetz or Wawa? The other thing is, was Bradley Carnell just trying to get fired? Did he hate it in Chester? Because how do you go into this season and be like, yeah, this guy, he's not, I want to play Yafet Seri Larson as many minutes as possible. Neil Pierre, send him to another country. He can't even make the roster. And then the other part of this, obviously, is Kevin Sullivan just having absolutely exploded over the past 8-10 games across all competitions. Since he started getting the ball more on the right side, playing inverted, he's become one of the most effective 1v1 players in the league. And then on top of that, Milan Orlovsky actually playing as a forward, right? Like all this stupid stuff that I cannot say enough bad things about Bradley Carnell. I can't believe that man won the Supporters Shield last year. We made so many brain dead decisions this season, and it's fun to watch the Union ball out again. Even though I don't love the style of play, they produce some spectacular moments, and the kids are leading them.
Philly's up to 13th in the East now, 19 points. That's 5 behind DC United with the final play-in spot. The Red Bulls are 1 point ahead of that. And this is a team that now has 5 wins on the season, 4 of them in their last 4 games since Bradley Carnell was canned. There's still more to come. The Kai Wagner move, remember when this was made and people were like, oh, he was a TAM player, then you sold him 6 months later, you bought him back for more than you sold him for. Now he's a DP left back. What are you doing? All of a sudden they're winning games, man. So it's been really fun to watch. And they weren't as good as best in the league last year, but they obviously weren't as bad as worst in the league this year. Even I didn't think it was going to be this quick of a turnaround.
And Quinn Sullivan coming back, being healthy, being available. He was a huge piece of the start last year, which kind of set them on the trajectory of teams are chasing us both in the standings and in games because they scored so many early goals. They won a lot of the winnable games early in the season, which just set them up to sort of protect the Supporters Shield before he got hurt. And now he's back. And to me, he's the most creative force that they have 1v1. So he gives you this outlet and this ability that other guys don't give you, which just makes life easier for the Damianis of the world, where it's like, oh yeah, I'll score tap-ins. I didn't know that was an option. If that's an option, then I'll be a goal scorer for this team. Orlovsky as well. And then, as you said, Cavan's played at an all-time high level for him at a young age. So it's been pretty special to watch.
Don't move us on yet. Tom, the most questionable tweet I saw this weekend from at empiregoss.bsky.social.
I think it's pronounced gas.
Oh, is it? I have NYCFC in my inner circle of true MLS Cup contenders. That's a real ass win for Philly. Now, I agree with the second part. That was a real ass win for Philly. But even full health, I'm not sure how you get to NYCFC are in the inner circle of MLS Cup contenders. Inner circle is 3, right? It's Miami, Nashville, and Vancouver. That's it. That's where the circle stops.
Okay. If your circle's that tight, I didn't know you were that tight. I didn't realize coming over.
It's not a participation trophy, Eric Goss.
After flying in, I didn't realize Doyle was so tight. If you're that tight, that's fair. You take a step outside of that. Give me 2 more.
Chicago
LAFC.
and LAFC.
Okay. I feel as fine about NYCFC in a playoff series right now as I do about Chicago.
I think that's fair.
So that's where I was coming from. Where
I need to know the hierarchy of real ass win. Where does that rank? What is the highest level of this category? Where does it? Is it somewhere near the top? Is it the top?
I think real ass is pretty. Yeah, that's a full ass. So that's a lot of it. But
Miami ass.
Listen, outside of the 2-3 guys we're going to talk about coming up in Nashville, Miami, and all this stuff, I think Fernando Marcao is the best player in Major League Soccer.
Yeah, but he didn't even play. That would have
I understand, but they're still no. Now you're doing 2 different things. Now the thing you agreed with,
do VAR.
The real ass win part. Now you're questioning that, but that doesn't question the inner circle thing. Whether he plays in that game or not, NYCFC are still an inner circle team for me because he's on the team.
No, because you have a big circle.
Because he's on the team.
I'm a loose circle guy. Everyone knows that. I let people into my circle, and then this is what happens. I get blindsided by a blind reading of a blue sky message as if we don't know who someone is. This is tough. This is a tough moment. But yeah, I would say
iron sharpens iron, bro.
I would still have NYCFC. Well, let's talk about Chicago. Best thing we saw this weekend, Tom. Is there something you wanted to add?
Robert Lewandowski walking around the Bears end zone like Brian Urlacher this weekend because the Bears played a preseason game, and usually when they still have the football lines on, they at least make the end zone still green. You can still see Bears. Not this week. This week it was just there's both like a full block in the end zone. like it had just been played. They gave it like, you're moving to McDonald's Park in a couple years anyway. It's preseason. I don't care. We're not redoing the lines. And there were 2 end zones in this game. I saw a photo from pitch side, and on a more serious note, it looked like the end zone where the goal is sloped a little bit. Like that was one of the worst pitches, at least aesthetically. If I can't, physically confirm that there was a slope in the goal mouth. I don't know if there's quotes after the game about it, but that was some of the worst aesthetics I've seen in MLS in a long time. And by the way, at that same time as you were playing a soccer game on a preseason field or Soldier Field, the Philly NYCFC game was at Yankee Stadium. And you could, if you had the double box up, there was a moment where the ball's near the goal and you could see the end zone. And then the ball's on the near touchline in the other game and you can see the infield diamond. It's just tough.
Yeah, but Seaver Way looks gorgeous right now. This is our culture. This is what we do. It was a rough start to the day. It was
and no pregame shows.
No.
Yeah.
But credit to Chicago, they just blitzed. See what I did there? They blitzed Portland off the field, and the game was over in 20 minutes. Tom, as much as I'm pumping up NYCFC, this is a really good Chicago team.
Yeah, and this is a Portland team that's been on a really strong run. Marty Cifuentes took charge of his first MLS game. After the game,
he should be notified what time kickoff is. I think that was one of the problems for him on his first game.
He said, like, after the game, he goes, hey, credit, like, they were better than us. Like, they deserved to win. And like, Portland did fight back. Finn Sermon gets a goal in the 85th minute. But, like, Chicago were pretty controlling in this game. Like you said, they blitzed early. The Robin Lod goal was a beautiful long ball. I think that was it was Gutman. And Lod with a really nice first touch off his chest that put him into space. And then a really nice finish. And we talked last show about Chicago needed DP10. Like, Lod is still good. He's still solid. And we mentioned that. But it was still really nice to see that moment of him getting beyond. And that's not what you think about with Robin Lod right now. You think about his quality, his creativity, his finishing touch when he's in around the box. It's not Lewandowski dropping in and Lod making a run through the channel and outrunning defenders. So credit to them. And then Davila gets another goal. And I think there's still more to come from Chicago. I still think that even if there is no new signing, though I hope and expect there to be a new signing, even within this group, there is enough quality and enough like Saletros, like he's been a little bit better recently. He didn't start super fast. You have Haile Selassie starting on one wing, and he looks good. And then you have Puso coming off the bench. There's no Bamba there in this game until the 60th minute. So there's a lot to like within this group, and I'd still really love them to use that DP spot on a high level signing because, as you said, as we just went through like our contenders, like they're somewhere in that like secondary list. And if the first list is 3 teams, which I agree that it is, you always have a chance here at trophies, and they're into the Leagues Cup knockout rounds. And I don't know, like there's a lot going well for Chicago, and I hope they take this moment this summer.
I'd be shocked if they didn't go out and use that open DP slot.
I agree. I agree, but I said that 18 months ago, and I thought they were going to sign a DP10 the first window that Greg took over.
I thought so too, but then they got Franco, right? And they really liked him.
That was in the summer.
Part of it, fair, but like part of it was, so what I had heard is that like Berhalter wanted to sort of assess what he had and then make decisions on that. That included selling Brian Gutierrez, which I still think they sold at too low a number. But then they brought in Andre Franco and they liked him. He got hurt. They're like, okay, let's wait and see when he comes back. He is back in training, but I don't think anybody should expect him to be anything close to like a match winner in 2026, right? But then the other thing happening here is like, okay, you sold Hugo Kuipers and you brought in Robert Lewandowski, and he's not going to get any younger. So your window is right now. You have to make moves for that right now time frame. And on top of that, Jay Davila was awesome yesterday.
Yeah, it was.
Next
it
game,
was.
He might be the worst player on the field.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's all this stuff that they have to figure out. It's why I think even with that obvious need for a little bit more midfield creativity, they get so much of it from Gutman on the left and Zinkernagel on the right. It almost makes more sense to just bring in Goretzka. Like, get that guy who you know can play at a high level, can add both on and off the ball, can sort of even things out in midfield in those games where Davila just doesn't show up. And like, I think if they do that move, then it becomes a 4-team group at the top. They're in there like kind of provisionally as a 4th team with Vancouver, Nashville, and Miami.
I already know what the answer to this is going to be, but would you be underwhelmed or upset if it was Manu Garcia, a guy who already knows this league, who's not in the league?
Yes, I would be upset.
Difference maker, but
I'd be extremely
upset.
You
could get him in the door. Okay,
I'd be very upset. Yeah, I'm upset that you even broached that as a question.
I don't think he stinks. I just don't think he's a DP10. But like, there is.
Then why not keep Franco and Lod?
Yeah.
Well, the question is how much you're going to get from Franco in terms of minutes. I think that's
right.
The question.
I would rather have Lod in there coming out of midfield because Garcia doesn't move. Right, he doesn't make like that run that Lod makes to attack into the depth. Garcia's never going to make that run. Like he can pass the ball, but like he like that's all he does.
But there's a lot of fit. This was one of the things me and Tom talked about last week. Is there's like 2 ways you can go with this group because Zinkernagel can be a chance creator for you, and there are other pieces in midfield who can chance create. Or do you have someone like Manu Garcia who takes volume of touches and open up play for some of these other guys to be able to push higher and stay on the front line?
So if the Chicago Fire in this era of ambition and trying to be one of the truly big clubs in North America spends a DP slot on Manu Garcia, I will be incredibly disappointed. I'll be enraged.
Okay.
Well, he's going to Greece, so you don't have to worry.
We will do our ice cream shop coming up soon. Big breaking news for Manu Garcia to talk about.
You just see his name in the rundown? Is that what you connected him with? Like, it came from nowhere.
No, I think in watching some of the games this weekend, I think we underrate the lack of efficiency of bringing a new player into MLS and how long it takes and the comfort zone. And so is Manu Garcia being a 6 out of 10 on the scale, but already settled, and he's only on contract for one more year? I don't know if that's sprint season or the full 2027. So it's
Probably
like
the latter.
So you go out, you get him, and then in the last 6 months of his deal, in the next summer, you let him go somewhere else for nothing, and you probably are giving up very little to get him back. Is that not more efficient in terms of win now than the ambition of, okay, Leon Goretzka is going to go through his full preseason. Here's the 5-week rollout for him to get comfortable to then learn how to play in this league and learn how to play in this group. That's the flip side.
I would rather bet on Goretzka there. I just don't think Garcia is a winning player.
Oh, man, someone just called him the new Sean Maloney. Now I need this to happen. Kennedy Igbonanike's not walking through that door right now. Okay, let's talk about the big games of the weekend before we move into that ice cream shop. Let's start with Nashville. One of the big wins of the season, one of the big wins all time for them. We've talked about this over and over. The connections between them and Miami feel endless. They came in the league at the same time. They've played big games against each other. I think the knocking Miami out of CONCACAF Champions League earlier this year was probably the slaying of the dragon for Nashville of we can do it, we can overcome them. But this was different. I saw people on social media who I don't know who were like, oh, I went to go see Messi and Nashville are awesome. So now I'm a Nashville fan. That's the point of these opportunities. And this wasn't, oh, we hung tight and we got the breakthrough. They dominated Inter Miami for at least the first 45 minutes, if not the entire game. Doyle, it was a statement win. It stretches their lead for the Supporters Shield as well. So now they have a 5-point lead over Inter Miami at the top of the Eastern Conference. And it was everything they could have hoped for.
Yeah, they were not just in terms of getting the performance from Elias Saad, who is the fourth heat now in the attack and seemed to fit perfectly next to Hani Mukhtar and underneath, Surridge, who looked excellent and all that. But they have missed since Patrick Yazbek got hurt. They've been a less dynamic team. They haven't gotten that sort of thrust through central midfield because Matthew Corcoran, he's really good. Eddie Tagseth is really good. But both those guys just hold, right? They sit in front of the back four, and neither really releases into the attack to any good effect. So instead, in this game, they just had Reed Baker-Whiting underlapping, pinching in from left back and attacking through the central channel, both on and off the ball. And they completely undressed Miami tactically. And that ended up giving Saad and Mukhtar in particular, and then Espinoza on the surge goal, it gave them so much time in these spots where these guys are lethal. And it was brave, because if you release your left back like that, the guy who operates on that wing for Miami wears number 10. And he scored a lot of goals in his career. And so you're risking Messi getting the ball in those spots with Max Walezi kind of out on an island. And I don't think a lot of coaches have the stomach for that. But BJ Callahan did. And his team kind of took that energy and they beat Miami to death with it.
So Frank Dolan in the chat, legend, shout out Frank. Obviously, Reed Baker-Whiting, a.k.a. Thighs McGee. Those white hands out there, they are something to behold. But, Doyle, you mentioned Saad, the fourth weapon, the fourth piece. The fact that he works so hard off the ball allows some of that to now be even more open than it was. Because, there's the one play early in the game where there's just a dead ball on the end line, and he just pursues it, and now it's a chance, and it ends up a corner kick, where it just should be Inter Miami lets it go out for a goal kick and they move on. And this is a guy who's coming in on loan from the Bundesliga, coming out of a World Cup, meanwhile, for the worst team at the World Cup, but that's a different conversation. And
he's Qatari?
Fair. Don't worry. MLS teams are lining up Uzbek signings now too. So they've really watched the World Cup and have assessed what people enjoy watching. But he went after this game. He was so good along the left side. And now if he's
Doesn't
going
this
to be
doesn't this make your Goretzka point stupid? Because if
Maybe.
Elias Saad could come in and instantly acclimatize, don't we
Maybe.
think that Leon Goretzka could do that?
Maybe.
wouldn't be the first time. Wouldn't be the
Right.
first time. Yeah.
But Saad was fantastic, man. Like he like the work rate, like you said, but he's got the sauce. He's got another kind of dimension to this attack, and like you said, the fourth heat. If they stuck you out there, if they stuck Doyle out there and me out there as the fourth attacker, this team would still score a ton of goals. If it was a cone that they could just hit the ball off of or a little wall, they'd still score goals. What's so scary about this team is if you add another, it's probably too early to call him a match winner, but against Miami, he was a match winner. The first goal for Andy Nahar, that was a fantastic piece of individualism. He had the time to be able to make that cross because he was dribbling really well against Miami, and if you get too close to him, he's going to go by you. Yeah. So he had the time to let the run from Nahar develop and put in a really good cross and an ingenious cross. If he's somebody that you have to respect like that on a consistent basis, and I think he can be, but I just don't want to be premature given this was what I think his second MLS appearance. I don't know however many. This is very clearly his best moment so far in Nashville. It hasn't been very long. He was one of the best players on the field, and it used to be a reliance on Mukhtar and Surridge. And then Christian Espinoza came in, and he can win a game on his own. And now if Said does that too, this team, I would say, is the best team in the league. And we're often like correctly hesitant to say that about anybody but Miami, even when like Miami loses a game like this, where Nashville were so very clearly the better team on the field, and then you feel dumb when Miami goes to beat like Cincy 4-1 or whatever it was in the playoffs last year, when they kind of stormed through everybody. It was like, oh yeah, like they are the best team in the league. But with Nashville, the defenders can defend in space. They have a defined play style, and they've got what is possibly now 4 match winners in the attack, and that is best team in the league type stuff.
Oh my God. We dunked on a couple of teams for inability to sign a human being center back to play in Major League Soccer. And Weledzi, I've been saying for 3 months is my defender of the year so far. Yeah. I'm not going to change that. Yeah, sometimes he dribbles himself into pressure to then get out of it. I'll take it.
Teed himself up.
Care. Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, Messi's on me. Let me just hold it a little longer so that I can hold him off.
And then when he
can.
Flicks it for a goal kick, he turns to the crowd and pumps him up. I love it.
But also his ability to win 1v1 battles in space allows more space for the wide guys to attack. And then even with the lack of thrust for goal scoring from Yazbek, who's back training, so they're hoping will be available, Palacios and Weledzi dribbling through lines to break pressure, initial pressure, and dribbling in the attacking third like fairly deep, which causes you to scramble and makes people make decisions. And now it's easier to play 1-2s around them. It's a huge factor for this team. They are fun to watch. This was like out the opening whistle. They were like, we're going to prove a point tonight that we are the Supporters Shield winners. This was why they rotated in the Leagues Cup. And I said it, with the work they put in CONCACAF Champions League and the place that they sat here, they were the one team I was okay with shipping that competition. And they made it worthwhile, where for some other teams, they just lost in Leagues Cup and then sucked again on the weekend. Like, they made it worthwhile, and that's fine. And now they have the inside track for the Supporters Shield. If they win it, I mean, I don't even know what I'm asking here, but they are the clear favorites, right?
At this point, yeah.
Yeah.
And, I like to hear you defend the integrity of the Leagues Cup, that like of all the teams that participated,
they had
only Nashville could blow it off and avoid the ire of David Gass. I will say that I do
Loveland's
think
Delennios got a contract out of his Leagues Cup play, so this is how big this competition is.
He looked fun.
That's my guy.
I need to see more of him. Obviously, I did not watch the Leagues Cup when I was in Spain, but
but I was
you lied in the open.
All the Loveland's highlights while you were in Bilbao.
I muted the group chat while I was in Bilbao.
I got it. Don't think we didn't clock that. No days off, buddy.
Is that a chuggy? But the other thing I will point out, and I think this is a little controversial, but I came out of this this game just feeling this way. I think Nashville might also have an advantage over Miami in goal. And I think that's controversial.
The tight one.
Swalky's like, can we not play Miami every week so that I can start picking up those stats? Get me an assist. Also, we need Roccos Rios Novos on the Little League field with Andrew Wiebe learning that you're supposed to start back so you can run onto a ball instead of running under and then trying to adjust yourself backwards.
It was
That's
tough because
the whole lesson.
Look, Tom wrote about it in the Athletic this weekend, and I agree with you. Like Rios Nova has had two just like you lose the job errors in the past 5 games or whatever it is since he was kind of handed the starting job. Those are also the same errors that Dayne St. Clair was making the first half of the season. Like Dayne St. Clair, the first half of the season was not MLS goalkeeper of the year, Dayne St. Clair. I do not think he's at all comfortable with the amount of ground he has to cover between his goal and the opposing. And it would not shock me. I haven't heard anything. Don't aggregate this. It would not shock me at all if Dayne St. Clair was on the trade block, because that would be a way for Miami to open up some cap room to probably get a lot of gammon, and they did just trade for an international roster slot, so it wouldn't shock me at all if there was an import coming to kind of solve the problem they have in goal.
It's good, Tom, that Doyle listened to Soccerwise while he was away too. That he didn't unplug so much when we did like 7 minutes on where you trade Dayne St. Clair.
and that was really good too. He just called his own shot. He's like, don't aggregate me, bro. Don't aggregate me.
But don't say I said it. And do not publish that I was mad, because I'm not mad.
So this is what we talked about then.
Doyle, the thing we came back with though is, where would you like the amount he'll cost? Because he won't cost nothing.
Right.
Where would you send him in Major League Soccer?
Like say back to Minnesota?
Exactly. Because the issue that we came to is he needs to play in a team that plays deeper. He's a great shot stopper. He can't cover ground, and he's not great on the ball. So it has to be a similar game states. And there didn't feel like there are a lot of teams that play that way that are looking for a keeper. So they wanted to give up money.
It frustrates me because Doyle, so Matt Turner, after returning to New England, is once again one of the best goalies in the league. You look at all of the shot stopping metrics, and he was historic in New England before he went to Arsenal. And then he goes to England, and they say, okay, now we want you to be a sweeper keeper. We want you to be a deep lying playmaker. And then it broke him for a while. Like with Dayne St. Clair, why are you asking him to do things that he doesn't?
No, actually, Tom, I disagree with this. So Jesse Marsch has a style of play, and Dayne St. Clair wanted to start at the World Cup, and Dayne St. Clair went to a club which would require him to do those things to prove he could do them. And guess what? He can't. The haters were right. So he didn't start at the World Cup, and he can't do those things. Good job by the haters. Good job by the haters, honestly, on that one. So I think, Tom, to me, that's the point, which is he took the shot, as you should, and the shot is he's really good at something, he's not great at everything, and he's not the complete goalkeeper.
Yeah, I think that's my frustration where teams do this. And then, like, is it better to have Roccos Rios Novo? And to your point, like, there was a reason why St. Clair got benched. But, okay, well, you have the reigning MLS goalkeeper of the year. Let him do the things that he's really good at. That's why you signed him.
But then you potentially have to change your entire style. Although I will tell you, I don't know what the style is right now for Inter Miami. It's like Casemiro cleaning up fires and then hoping on the other side.
If you have a great shot, how many times did we see Oscar Ustari or Rios Novos last year have blunders out, like, because they're being asked to sweep up things behind the back line? So your style isn't even providing value. So then you get a goalie who doesn't fit that, but he's an incredible shot stopper. And if you're saving the goals added or whatever, goals prevented, then this team has so many model breakers in terms of expected goals with Messi and Suarez and others. If you're getting boosts like that, you don't need him to be a sweeper keeper. You shouldn't need him to be a sweeper keeper. And I just feel like that these are obvious little tweaks that they don't make, and teams like outsmart themselves or outcute themselves or say, this is how we play and we're going to play this way because that's how we play. And then things like this, like if this was a playoff game and that gaffe happened with Rios Novo, which is maybe unfair because it's his worst or second worst moment of the season, except it's not all out of the realm of possibility. This isn't a one-off. This will happen, And if that happens in a playoff series or a playoff game, and that's how you go home, you look stupid.
Are you ready to cue the "they're better without Messi" vibes? They were 7 in a row wins, and then Messi comes back from the World Cup, and now they've lost the last 2 with him on the field. I think it's coming.
All yours, buddy.
Thank you. If you're listening to us via Sirius Radio, thanks for joining us. We're going to go a little bit long here, so you can search the show on Demand Player or anywhere you get your podcasts. Let's move to the Western Conference, because quietly, now that Miami have lost, the best run in Major League Soccer has been the Houston Dynamo. So they knock off the LA Galaxy 1-0. They are now officially in second place in the Western Conference. They are sitting 2 points behind Vancouver, but Vancouver have a game in hand. And they moved on from their designated player center forward, as we talked about on the show last week, Tom, and it all seems to be fitting together pretty cleanly.
Yeah, the Houston Dynamo, second in the Western Conference after another win this week, and they beat the LA Galaxy, who got, I believe, Amaro Garces' 3rd red card of the season.
Yeah.
And you get suspended when you get these red cards. How does he played enough games to have 3 red cards? And another disastrous decision. He's not only not gotten better since his first half season, and then he was integral to them winning MLS Cup. Not only has he not gotten better, he's actively gotten worse. I don't get it. It's unfortunate. But Houston took that red card. They were already up 1-0, and they ended up seeing out the game, and they beat the Galaxy. They get a win. They're 4 wins in a row now, and those 4 wins aren't over the best teams. It's Galaxy, it's New England, it's Sporting KC, and it's Austin FC. But you can only beat the teams you play, and picking up these
there's a
points
Leagues
is how
Cup
you make the playoffs.
quarterfinalist on that list. So watch out.
That's a good point. And Houston are in a really good way. The style hasn't been 24 when they got to the conference final? Was that the first season under Ben Olsen?
23.
It hasn't been that exact super aesthetic style, but it's been really effective. And this is a good example of a team tweaking the way that they play to fit their talent. And I think that there's more to go. I think it's not unfair to be a little bit dubious of the run itself, and that is not to pour cold water on it. This will be their next 2 games are Vancouver and St. Louis, both on the road.
Yeah.
Those will be very difficult games, but guess what? When you beat Kansas City and New England on the road and the Galaxy at home, if they come away with this with 0 points, it'll be obviously very disappointing, but it won't threaten their playoff chase, and it will threaten maybe their top 4 chase. But this team, I think that they're in a really good way. I think Duncan McGuire is going to be better than Ezekiel Ponce for the attack, so that should help the attack. And so far, so good in their defensive structure.
Yeah, they got a lot of stuff right this offseason that I was questioning, really skeptical about. Guilherme being the big one, but the way he and Bogusz work together is really, really good. Artur coming back and man, this is a guy who I don't think he has any cartilage in his knees, but he doesn't look like it. And then they have between Halter and the kid they drafted, they have 2.
Augustine Reich.
Yeah, they have 2 really good center backs. None of it is flashy, other than when the ball is on Guilherme's foot or Jack McGlynn's foot. Nothing about this is flashy, but it's just really solid. So they're beating the bad teams, and that's a sign that you're a pretty good team. Now, over the next couple of games, they have a chance to show that they're a little bit better than that, because, as you said, Tom, the schedule's about to toughen up. I'm looking forward to seeing what they can be. I kind of think that they're going to be a sit and absorb and try to hit on the counter team, and that might be smart. They might try to grab the game and drag it into the mud. We'll see if Vancouver and St. Louis allow them to do that.
I will say even in that scenario, if they end up a home team in the playoffs and teams sit in, one of the issues for the team, 2-3 years ago when it was a Western Conference finalist, was how do they break teams down that are a little bit deeper? Feels like the potential for a Duncan McGuire drops in, pulls a center back, and a Guilherme Bogusz makes the run off the wing into a little bit of space, or then Duncan, if it goes out wide, can spin and be a near post runner for a finish, fits at least. And it feels like opening all of those options up for Jack McGlynn has real potential to at least help you against teams. We saw it a little bit against the Galaxy in this game. Duncan McGuire almost had a gorgeous assist on, he checks back heels it with Mickey Imane on his back so that Bogusz immediately can pick it up and be on the run, attacking the goal. So it feels like there's some nice potential there. But yeah, this feels like a Houston team that's right now best of the rest in the Western Conference where there's that.
Not an inner.
No. The
contender
circle
for you?
starts right above it. The edge of the circle.
Oh, okay. Right.
The entryway as you start to dip down.
So wait, you know what? I'm gonna back this up. Two things. One, we forgot to mention the Fire have now won 5 games across all competitions for the first time in 26 years. For the first
Yeah,
time.
they've got a shot.
Apologize to Jaden Daniels.
Yes. Second, Gass, I didn't prepare you for this, but name the teams in your inner circle.
I said them. I said it was.
We did this like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, the 3 you said, LAFC and NYCFC. Chicago and NYCFC are the last 2 coming in on the edge. So it's
Okay.
Vancouver,
Right.
it's Vancouver, Miami, Nashville, LAFC,
Right.
and then NYCFC and Chicago are those next.
So
2.
Chicago are in the inner circle, and
They're
then it's
approaching circles. They're approaching circle status. I need to see what else happens in the transfer window. If Puso started every game, they'd be inner circle. But without Puso getting the full allotment of minutes, they're bordering on the edge of it. Although it's sitting Jonathan Bamba was a nice piece this weekend, so maybe that helps me feel a little bit better. But yeah, that's my circle. Am I missing anyone that's obvious?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Maybe St. Louis.
Wow. Okay, let's do that then. St. Louis, another big victory for them. They knocked off San Jose on the road 3-1. So post Hartle, they get the win. Simon Betcher with a brace, and Edelman with his first goal. Doyle, you think that they're for real and they can challenge at the top of the Western Conference?
I think they're very much for real. I don't think they have the firepower to be an inner circle or even really outer circle contender, but they're just motherfuckers to play against, man. Like Edelman and Durkin together in the deep double pivot. I know Betcher takes a lot of stick for his, he's not a great finisher.
Oh, yeah, not scoring goals. That's what he takes stick for. I was like, where's he going to go with this?
Scored twice this weekend.
Yeah, he's got 4 goals, 4 assists on the season, so he's not Christian
He's
Coleman
not a starting center
out there.
forward. It's fine. For what the minutes he should play,
So
the production is fine.
Here's the thing. So much of what he does is what defines this team, right? It's like that point of attack defense. It's the shit housing. It's the unselfish off ball run. If you look at that goal that Edelman scores, I think it was the opening goal in this game this weekend. It's Betcher making that hard near post run to just clear out the penalty spot for that pullback. Like all this stuff. Okay, if you're going to go out and get a DP9, and I'm sure they are, you better make sure that guy is doing all of that stuff as well. Because what Betcher gives them up top has been a catalyst for everything good that has happened for St. Louis over the past 4 months. And it didn't fall apart when Marcel Hartel left, right? Like they went out and they played arguably their best game of the season in their first game without him. I think this was their first game without him. So there is some stuff here that isn't necessarily box score stuff that's going really, really right for St. Louis. And Corey Ray has to go out and sign a DP attacker. He has to probably go out and sign a DP number 9. He has to get the marginal stuff about that guy correct. It can't be just a fox in the box. It can't be just a guy who wants to score goals, because they're defined by the fact that they're center forward, in part by the fact that the center forward just does all the miserable stuff that nobody else wants to do. He does that at such a high level, and it makes them so much more difficult to play against.
This team, and they're doing it with, like, if we looked back at what we thought their best 11 would be in preseason when we were trying to project out this team. Yeah. I don't know how many guys are in it. Like the Falu fall and Mbake fall. I don't know if they exist. I feel like I haven't watched them play once this year. I know that they've both gotten some minutes, but the back line of Polvara, Baumgartner, and McNaughton. And they're playing really well. They held San Jose to, I think it was I just had it up, like a 0.2 XG or something to that effect.
You wanted data? Gross. 0.19.
They're completely dominant this weekend. The midfield, like you said, it's not flashy, but it's super industrial and it's controlling, and it's really difficult to play against with Edelman and Durkin. The wingbacks, they're showing what we thought they could be in Toitland and Valum when they were signed 18 months ago, whatever it was. Like they showed some upside and they showed some flashes, and then now if you're winning games over there and in the attack, one sad part, I think, for me and fan favorite Edward Leuven, he might leave this summer. There was some talks over a new contract that didn't go anywhere. I know the teams within the league have inquired. I know that some stuff in Europe has come up.
I swear to God, someone sent this to us. I thought this was a bit. Like, no. Hartle left, everyone leaves. I literally thought this was
real.
a joke.
No, it's real. And it sucks because like he fits Leuven fits the Johan Demey style infinitely better than Bradley Cornell off Melberg. Like,
well, there was no Melberg style, so that one was hard to fit in.
The lack thereof, the around ball. Go run around and try to kick people and get a couple throw-ins. So like it's unfortunate, but that's just the nature of the game. And when your contract's coming up and the talks happen, and then if you don't sign a new deal, or if it's very clear that one probably isn't happening, then teams call. And then when teams call, the player gets his head turned. And I think that's where we are right now with Leuven. Who knows what happens over the next few weeks? I'm probably leaning towards a departure at this moment, but you know, it's very fluid and we'll see what happens. But I think that's the only sour note here, because then that's another person that they have to replace because he's very good.
Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah. Hulsa played about 20 minutes along with Matan off the bench later on in this game. And for St. Louis, so reminder, they have the Open Cup semifinal. So that one's on September 16th. And there is an international break the week after that. So for most of these teams, there's about 6 games till that international break. And then there's 2 weeks off. And then we come back in October, because now it's those extended windows where international teams will play like 4 games. So it's a pretty big break before then. St. Louis has SKC this week. So a bad team, but a rivalry game on the road. Then they play Houston on the weekend, who we just said were the other hottest team in the Western Conference. And then they play Dallas the following weekend, who right now sit 1 point ahead of them. And then they travel to Vancouver. So it's a really tough stretch coming up. It will define if they are in the circle or out of the circle. If they want to make a run at the circle, this is a good circle run right now to get there. But one of the things that's funny is the Open Cup semifinals is all teams where it's like, what else do they have to play for? And I would argue at least 3 of the 4 have like remade their teams and become super dangerous, right? Columbus, Orlando, and St. Louis. I'd put in there Colorado.
I think Colorado are trying to remake their team right now.
Yeah,
whatever.
Colorado have, like, I'm not super high on them, but they have won 3 of 4 in league play since
beating SKC with 2 red cards at home.
That first red card was, just the decision making, man. It's like at some points I feel bad for Rafa Vicky. Like, I'm sorry, I forgot in the team talk to not leave your foot and try to break somebody's leg in a tackle in the first half. I'll say that next game. Hopefully, like, it's crazy.
But we're going to be talking about St. Louis a lot over the next few weeks.
Think so too.
Yeah.
Let's finish up Ice Cream Shop here, because there are these midweek games coming up. We mentioned Manu Garcia. Tom, you broke my heart. There's no Chicago in his future. Is he headed back to Greece?
Yeah, he's headed back to Greece. He was held out of the game this weekend. Rafa Vicky did him a favor, I think. And he was told there was conversations about his future, and he will be departing soon. It's a move. I forget the Greek club. It's been reported in Greek media. Aris.
I think.
There was, because he came from Greek football before, like that's where he was signed from, him and Shabi Suleimanov. There was a fear, or at least likelihood, that they were going to have to buy him out. So the fact that this is a transfer, I'm sure that they have to eat money or some, but the fact that this isn't a straight up buyout at this moment is considered a win. And that will open another DP spot. I've kind of said it, maybe not directly enough this summer, that after they signed, or as they're signing Andre Luiz, like they want to sign 2 DPs this summer. That's like, it was Luiz. They had the conversations obviously for Mo Salah, which as we said a bunch of times was a long shot. They knew that, but that wasn't going to stop them from doing Andre Luiz, because they thought they were going to be able to sign, or they planned to be able to sign 2 DPs. Jan Gaboho and Andre Luiz, those were 2 players that they were negotiating for at the same time. I don't know if Jan Gaboho, if there's any activity there or not, but the whole point is that wasn't a one or the other situation when they were doing it. So they have a lot of work to do, obviously, and Andre Luiz, I don't think that's been announced or anything. But this team is going to keep trying to add to the attack, add to the team. If they're putting up $18 million for an Olympiacos winger, some other, like they were chasing Salah, that was real. That wasn't fake money. And so Peter Maluk is putting a lot of money into this team. And there's a possibility that they come out the other side of this transfer window with upwards of $30 million worth of transfer fees and players. If it was Jan Gaboho and Andre Luiz, that would be at least $36 million in transfer fees plus add-ons. And again, I don't know if it's going to be him or somebody in his profile, but the money's there.
It's feeling a little bit like when Austin spent $30 million on
Uzuni.
Osman Bukhari, Uzuni, and Brandon Vasquez. It's like, all right, I applaud the ambition, but maybe the talent identification could use a little sharpening.
I mean, it's U.S. Open Cup finalists and Leagues Cup quarterfinalists, Mirto Uzuni. He's scoring goals
True.
now. I just wanted to check to make sure. So Manu Garcia played at Aris. That was the exact club. Did you know that Manu Garcia has a cap with the Spanish national team?
There's no way.
Yeah, 2021, the entire Spanish national team tested positive for COVID. They called up the U21s, and Manu Garcia started in a 4-0 victory over Lithuania in place of Sergio Busquets. I had never heard that before.
That's electric.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Spanish international leaving Major League Soccer. Put that on the PR release.
Sporting Can. Do you guys know what the single season record is for negative goal differential in MLS?
No, what is it?
Is it Cincinnati in like 20?
Yep.
Yeah.
2019, their debut season, minus 44.
Yeah, I knew
They
it
had
was
like
in the
71
40s.
goals conceded or something.
Yeah.
Do you know what Sporting Kansas City's goal differential is right now?
I just wanted to look it up. So
I'm going to guess minus 51.
What?
No, they're not there yet. No.
You played the game wrong there, Goss. Now what Doyle's gonna say is this is an insane number that now you're gonna make it look small because you went away over the top.
They're at minus 30, which is
in 19 games.
In 19 games, so they have 15 games.
So it's just
left.
more chances for them to score goals and close that number.
And, yeah, whittle that down.
Yeah.
In most years, minus 30 is just about like the worst number for the entire season. Right, there are very few teams that have been minus 34, like minus 1 goal per game or worse. Like Sporting Kansas City are approaching minus 2 goals per game. They are historically bad, and so far from what we've seen, the new signings have not made them better. And they've made a bunch of new signings since the start of the year, mostly in that defense.
So last year, DC United was the worst at minus 36. No one else was over minus 30, but minus 36 was worse in Major League Soccer. The year before, San Jose and New England were tied on minus 37.
Yeah.
So they are going to shatter that before we even get to that international break.
They're doing it in a season where the West is kind of down, right? Like the West isn't as good this year as it has been the past 3 or 4 years.
I saw some discourse about this online. It's a bad team. Like they didn't have a full senior roster coming into the season. Do we think Rafael Vicky is the coach at the start of next season?
No chance.
Yeah, I think that he for sure is by the end of the season because the club acknowledged that there wasn't a full roster in preseason. I don't know about the winter. Their last 3 games at Colorado, home to Houston, at LAFC, they have conceded 8 goals and scored none, and at least 3 red cards.
So Graham Zusi, head coach, sprint season. Davey Arnaud could be available.
Man.
He's an SKC legend.
Hashtag free Dejan Joveljic.
Yeah.
Stay strong, brother.
Is there any chance that they sell him?
I don't know why. I'm saying this for Dejan Joveljic.
No,
if
I
you're
get that.
Kansas City, absolutely not. Put 2
But
hands
if you're an
around it.
MLS team, that needs a center forward, you have to come and ask, right?
That would have been the Galaxy side. They signed Furuhashi, but they did end up having an open TP spot when Peck left. How funny would that have been?
That would have been wild. He would not be going to play with his good friend Mickey Yamane, though, because Mickey Yamane has officially been sold. I put sold in quotes here. This felt like, I don't know. Is there real money in this?
I don't know.
Yeah, I would assume not. He's been transferred to Japan, where he came from originally. He has started, I think, 12 games so far this season. Was obviously a huge performer for them in the MLS Cup run. And one of, it feels like, a couple players who were brought in at the right time for the right moment and probably made it harder to develop the players that you should have been developing. And now Mauricio Cuevas starts in Leagues Cup for a Liga MX team. And Harbor Miller's playing left mid and whatever else when maybe they could have been playing. But that's just my thing. And the last one I had down here, Tom, is Kevin Kelsy bids from Rangers. This would be a sale. $10 million gets real, no quotes around it. That gets real sales.
Well, I didn't know that they could put that money on the piece of paper.
Because if you write it down, you don't have to pay it.
That's the Botafogo special. I just didn't know that. I was even talking to somebody not at the Timbers, talking to somebody else, and like we were talking just about MLS news. They're like, I had no idea that they like had that like spending capability right now. So that's positive. But they don't the Timbers. Why I keep saying Rapids? The Timbers they don't want to lose him. And Kelsy, as far as I understand, is not pushing for this one. He will move at some point if things go well. Doesn't need to be this summer. They hope, in fact, that they hope it's not this summer. After he's had a really consistent run of goals, run of form, and this is a kid who's played for, I think it's 4 teams in 5 years or something to that effect. Before he went to Shakhtar Donetsk, he played for 2 teams in South America. So he came through in Venezuela, and then he went to Uruguay. Then he went to Shakhtar. Then he went to Cincy. And then back to Shakhtar briefly before coming to Portland. So I think he's had enough upheaval in his life. Now there's going to be a new coach, so there's always constant change anyway. But he's turned into quite a productive and a good player in this league. And I think for somebody who's moved so much, with no disrespect to Rangers, like if the idea is the Rangers isn't your destination, that you're going to go somewhere else, why not just stay at Portland for another year and see if a high level championship team or a league, like wherever he thinks his future is, wait here, given how many times he's moved, and have the chance to play under Armando Cifuentes and see if he continues that form.
Yeah. I just went through Rangers history on Transfer Market. You want to guess the last time they spent $10 million on a player is?
The heyday of
probably
Scottish
before
football.
They went into bankruptcy because they didn't have the money to spend.
Well, that is correct.
Was it Carlos Bocanegra?
No, it was not Carlos Bocanegra.
Luis Saha.
I'm going back. It was 2001. The summer of 2000. They spent €18 million on Torre Andre Flo from Chelsea, and he was a World Cup legend with Norway. And man, I'm just looking through this. He is the only $10 million transfer, $10 million plus transfer in club history, and it was over a quarter century ago. So if this is a real,
at the time, that was $100 million signing. That's like Kylian Mbappe.
Yeah, that was probably like one of the 5 biggest transfers in world history at that point.
Yeah.
So that tells you at least how serious Rangers are about it, assuming that this is a real offer. But I think that given how good Kelsey's been this year and his improvement curve, and like how many tools he has, because he's big, he's strong, he's fast. He hits the shit out of the ball with that left foot of his, and now he knows where goals come from. Like, they're right to say, no, you're going to need to give us $13-14 million to part with this guy.
Counter. Portland are bad. It's hard to score goals on bad teams. And it's a year later, and he hasn't scored any more goals, and the team's bad. That's the other thing that could happen. I'm just throwing that out there.
That you're worried that this is the peak of his value.
$10 million. I mean, I tried to sell Kevin Denke last week for $15 million to Hull. I don't know. Sometimes it just feels like
that's like selling at a loss. No, I don't think you sell Denke at a loss at this point.
Okay. Whatever. I'm not. This is why I don't run these teams, because I would just sell everyone at $1 million loss and be like, "Oh, I got out of it. Thank God." All right, let's go sign the next player. Portland will be back on the field midweek. We've got a decent slate of games coming up for these midweek matches. I think Portland's playing San Diego, which is a fun one because they've both been in pretty good form. Yes, they are. 10:30 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesday night. That goes along with the Cali Classico, which we expect to see Chucky in once again. Sergio Roberto did not make his debut this weekend. And then Vancouver, Houston, and SKC St. Louis, all out west. So a chunk of really good games, and then the Ryan Richter Philadelphia Union host Inter Miami to start the night. So across the board, a good slate of games for us to dig into on Thursday when we come back. Tom?
Miami, Philly, for those who don't remember, played in May. Miami 6, Philadelphia 4.
And that was when Philly
that.
couldn't score and refused to play attacking soccer.
Yeah.
So get ready for the breaking the algorithm, Kevin Sullivan, Lionel Messi, like one time they brush shoulders as they walk by each other. And everyone doing Space Jam recreations and stuff of the power. Anything for the midweek you guys are looking for? Anything to note?
No,
I'm just
I don't think so.
surviving and advancing through all the games, man. Of course, there's a 15-game midweek slate.
It is tough that, like, literally I just rattled off. There are like 6 really good games this week. And it's, what's the rotation going to look like? What are teams going to put together? And then for teams in Leagues Cup, the following week, they will go into the quarterfinals. So for those 4 teams, they have to decide. They've got 4 games over the next 14 days, 16 days, in which one of them is a knockout competition. So a lot going on for all of those teams. A lot going on for us at Soccerwise. We've got our NWSL show that'll be coming out on Wednesday. We've got our new U.S. show that we're going to be digging into some Yanks abroad and looking forward at the 2027 Women's World Cup depth chart for the U.S. On Wednesday. And then we'll be back on Thursday because we have a full slate of games from Wednesday night for us to break down and for us to talk about. So we'll be up till 1 a.m. Then we'll turn it around and rip a show. And then Friday, we have our first ever open mic episode on the Soccerwise channels. It will be with Vanni Sartini. So 45 minutes or so of me chatting with Vanni, talking about everything he's been through and his thoughts on coaching, on development, on the soccer scene in North America, the U.S. and Canada. He worked for the U.S. Soccer Federation when he first came over as a coaching teacher for the USSF, worked with MLS coaches to start, and then all the way down building development plans coming out of Italy. So it was a super fun conversation. Hopefully we'll have him on again after this, but I think people are really going to enjoy that one to set themselves up for the weekend. Okay. We are glad to have Doyle back. It's always good to see you, Tom, sporting the stripes. I'm a little sad. It doesn't feel like it's pure velour on that one, but it's still a really strong look for you. Tom was going 7 1/3 innings back in 2016, but now in retirement, game's gone. He's got the Knicks hat as well.
He's on a pitch count. Yeah.
Yeah. We've just been watching highlights for the last few days. Thank you to everyone in the chat who was here live. Always fun to have you. And thank you to all of you for listening. And we'll talk to you again very, very soon.